Hey Wargamers, today let's talk about Fire Warriors, specifically strike teams and breacher teams. Before we do that though, I want to say thanks for watching. If you like this video, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell buttons. That way you don't miss any of my upcoming unit reviews, battle reports, or hobby videos for 8th edition 40k. Alright, so let's get into it. We'll start with the strike teams and then move into the breacher teams, just because strike teams are kind of the standard Fire Warrior. In the past, they have gone through periods of being better and worse. And now we're at a period of them being better again. Basically, what was old is new again, and Fire Warriors are the new hotness of the Tau Empire. So let's start with the strike team profile, shall we? And that's where you say, yes, absolutely, let's get into it. You guys really shouldn't be talking to yourself like I am right now. All right, we'll move on. All right, so Fire Warrior, movement 6. At first when the rules about movement came out, I thought Fire Warriors were going to be slow because, they're short. But 6-inch movement, that works for me. 5-up weapon skill, 4-up ballistic skill, strength 3, toughness 3 with 1 wound, 1 attack, 6 leadership. That gets bumped to 7 if you take the Shazwi, and then a 4-up save. So a little bit not as robust of a stat line as it was before, just because of the changes in leadership, but overall basically the same. You have to take 5 Fire Warriors. You can bump them up to 12. One of those guys can be the Shazwi, which it should be because it's free and it gives you that extra leadership. And then you can take 2 drones, 2 tactical drones, or 1 tactical drone and a guardian drone. Basically, a guardian drone gives your unit a 6-up invulnerable save, which is fine, but really I would be surprised if your Fire Warriors are routinely taken out by weapons with -2 AP, so really, or -3 AP actually. So really, guardian drone not going to be doing anything most of the time, so don't bother with that. And really, other tactical drones, as I've said in previous videos here, they're going to be okay. You can basically take them as a way to shoehorn in drones into your army without having to take actual drone units. So if you want some more gun drones, this is a good way to do it. Gun drones are going to benefit very well from a Fireblade bonus, just like these guys are going to. So having more gun drones around isn't necessarily a bad thing. But it's absolutely not necessary for these guys to be effective either. And their other option is to take a support turret. Now, the support turret works a little bit differently in the way that it did before. Now you can use it once per game. You set it down. It actually is a member of your unit, occupies a spot. It has a full profile in terms of toughness, wounds, strength, whatever. But if you move out of unit coherency of it, it's destroyed. So it's a one-time use, and as soon as you move away from it, it's destroyed. So even though I can give you some nice missile pod shots, or smart missile shots if you want those, it's really not going to be very useful considering how important movement is in 8th edition. So overall, I'd recommend against taking that. With all that out of the way, you really get down to the question of what you should equip your actual Fire Warriors with. We said don't take the support turret, don't bother with the guardian drone, and you can take a few gun drones if you want. But what is the main gun of these guys going to be? Well, carbines are always kind of a nice thing when you're up close, and opponents are going to be getting much closer much more quickly now, so carbines are fairly good for that reason. However, having the longer range and flexibility of the pulse rifle is really going to still be a good option, and for that reason I still recommend going with the pulse rifle, especially when you consider the benefits of like a pulse accelerator drone. The pulse rifle is going to be better, especially when you stack a Fireblade on top of that. So you get the benefit from an accelerator drone increasing your range by 6 inches, and then a Fireblade is increasing the number of shots you have by 1 at half range. And so you end up with what, 18 inches. You have 3 shots with a pulse rifle, as opposed to I think it's like 13 inches. You get 3 shots with a carbine. So hands down, the pulse rifle is the better option. And I think really that's kind of the trick with these guys is a pulse accelerator drone borrowed from some Pathfinders is okay, not necessary, but really bringing these guys with the Fireblade is clutch. Deploying them either in a basically in a formation with the Fireblade or in a Devilfish with the Fireblade is really the way you want to go, but I lean more towards just deploying these guys in your deployment zone, surrounding a Fireblade, and just unleashing firepower, giving your army a nice strong backbone, nice strong gun line to rely upon. They're going to be able to mow down a lot of infantry units. Just the volume of fire being strength 5 is going to give you a lot of good options. They're still wounding toughness 3 guys on 3s and Marines on 3s, which is subpar, but it's fine. Really, their strength is in their range, and so using the pulse rifle to lean into that strength is the way to go. All right, so that's strike team. Basically, take a couple units of those, probably, you know, between 8 and 12. You don't want to go much. You wouldn't want to go any lower than 8 just because of the way morale works. And yeah, that's about it. So take a few units of those guys, put them around a Fireblade, and that's about it. Breacher teams are a little bit more complex, a little bit more complicated. They're the same stat line, everything's the same except for their gun. Still don't want to take a Guardian drone, still don't want to take a support turret, but these guys are locked in at having pulse blasters. And to refresh your memory of how those work, they basically have 3 tiers of effectiveness. Within 5 inches, it's strength 6 minus 2 AP, assault 2 weapon. Within 10 inches, it's strength 5 minus 1 AP, and at 15 inches, it's assault 2, strength 7. So you basically have decreasing strength and AP as you get further away. And so when you're at the furthest range, when you're at that 15-inch range, it's basically a bolter, which sucks. So we don't want that. What we really want these guys for is the up close and personal aspect of the pulse blaster, which in a gun line is going to be really unlikely. You're not going to be able to use that because enemies that get that close are probably just going to charge you, and they're going to stay outside of that range as best they can and then charge in after that. So you can move these guys around a bit using Marker Light support or Manka from your Warlord or from your commander, but they're going to be hard to actually do anything with if you don't move them upfield quickly. And the best way to do that is in a Devilfish, and I really think that that's a necessary component of using a breacher team, is putting them in Devilfish. And you can pair them with a Fireblade or Dark Strider, although the benefits of Dark Strider are not as great as they were before, and I'll talk about this when I do my Dark Strider video. But Dark Strider, the -1 to toughness is really not that great. It's not going to matter most of the time. There's only a few situations where having -1 to toughness is going to matter because of the way that the two wound chart has changed. So you can bring them with Dark Strider, you can bring them with Fireblade, but really these guys absolutely need to be in a Devilfish. And you can move them upfield and take out some vulnerable units pretty quickly, but by themselves they are going to get overwhelmed very quickly. They're not very durable, right? And so that's problematic. So you need to pair them either in multiple groups or with crisis suits or with Vespid or something else. But if you are able to facilitate that movement, they actually can have some nice applications overall, unless you're going for a very not strike team, because if you're going for a very aggressive list, like with Farsight or multiple Deep Strikers, I think they can work well. But if you're not going for that type of list, don't even bother. Having 1 unit of Breachers and a Devilfish is not going to change the game for you. it's better to just invest more heavily in fire warriors and have them sit there with their fire blade and just, you know, pummel the enemy with shots. It's going to be more effective point for point. That's not to say that devilfishes are bad. Of course, they're actually fairly good, and we'll talk more about that in their video, but they're just not, it's just not going to be as good as just taking a bunch of strike teams at that point. So that's it, I think. They're pretty straightforward. I would take a couple of units of strike teams in every list, and use breachers sparingly. Only use them if they really synergize with your overall strategy. So that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Tell me if your strike teams or breacher teams are doing a bunch of work for you, or if they're just kind of rolling over and, I don't know, setting off fireworks with their photon grenades or something like that, I guess. So, all right, thanks for watching, and of course, happy wargaming.